Good night, fam. How are you? Welcome to At This Ungodly Hour. This is Come. The other day, the other night, I did a video on the 12 kinds of people who piss me off. And I thought I had dealt with it. I thought I had laid it out. I thought those were the 12, and that was it. And lo and behold, some after I did that video, some more things kept popping up into my head, right? Some more kinds of people, and I'm saying, When the first two more came, I say, yeah, these should have been added to the list. Such a pity I did the video and I didn't get to add these two to the list. And then another one popped into my head, and then over the course of several days, lo and behold, I have 12 more. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that I could come up with 12 more kinds of people who piss me off? Because what that means is a ton load of people out there aggravating me, irritating me. Is it that I'm a person who is easily irritated then? Because, when I did that first video, I said to myself, maybe there are persons who they're listening to these 12 kinds of people who piss me off, and they're probably shrugging and saying, I don't see anything wrong with that kind of person. I wouldn't be pissed if the person did that to me. And maybe you'll say the same thing for these 12, right? So maybe I'm just easily annoyed. I don't know. You tell me if you think I'm easily annoyed, but I managed to come up with 12 more people, 12 more kinds of people who piss me off. And the number one on my list, I'm starting with that one because it happened to me just this evening. I was on the road and this happened to me, and I was so pissed. I was so upset. Kind of calmed down now. I came home, took a shower, had something cool to drink. So kind of calmed down, but trust me, I was raging mad. And this is actually not a person, this is an institution, this is a bank. This is a bank, but actually, I shouldn't even blame the bank per se. I think it's a systemic problem. It's probably a government systemic problem, so I'm not even going to name the bank. So, for those who don't know, I live in Jamaica. So, we recently changed over our banknotes. So, we had a whole series of notes that we had, different denominations, $1,000 bills, $100 bills, up to $5,000 bills. And recently, they were changed over to a different type of banknote, different material. I personally don't. I'm not fond of it. Of the new ones, they're a little bit too. What's the word? Too slick. They feel too slick in my hand. I just feel like I'm gonna count them wrong, or I'm going to lose them easily. That I just have that. Right, but maybe it's because it's new, right? Okay. Well, one thing I can say, they're pretty. The new banknotes are very pretty. But I haven't gotten used to the feel of them yet. But here's my thing now. Here's the thing that pissed me off. And for those who are in banking, maybe you can explain to me the reason for this situation. So we change over the banknotes, but the ATM machines, or if you want to call them ABM machines, teller machines, they can't accept the new notes. You can't lodge, you can't deposit these into the ATM. But if you do a withdrawal, the ATM will give you the new notes. Somebody who is in banking, maybe you can explain this to me, because I am at my wits' end. Just as a lay person, I don't, maybe there are little things I don't understand. Clearly, I'm not a banker. I don't work in the system. I don't know the reason for this. But I'm asking, how is it the ATM gives you the new currency, the new notes, but you can't deposit the new notes into the ATM? No, it is very inconvenient, because, and sometimes you don't even remember, like what happened to me this evening. So I went to the ATM, and this has happened to me several times. Sometimes what I have to do, leave the ATM, go to the supermarket or go to a store and ask the cashier to change over the new notes, give me some old notes so I can go back to the ATM to deposit it, right? Sometimes you forget and you stand up there in the line. Like this evening, I went to the ATM. Don't remember that is pure new notes I have. Stand in the line for about half an hour. It's a long line. It's month end now, payday. So, you know, the line is long. Stand in the line for about half an hour. Almost reach up to the top of the line. And then I remembered, oh shit, all I have are the new notes. I can't deposit, and it's a deposit transaction I wanted to do. Can't deposit the new notes. So I had to remove myself from the line, knowing full well that the chance of me getting back my space was very low, even though I asked the guy who was behind me now, not in front of me, the guy who was behind me to hold my space. He said fine. But I figured by the time I went into the shopping center to go get the new notes from, because I needed a good amount of new notes in exchange, I figured my space would be gone. When I realized that I just had the new notes, I felt so upset. I felt so pissed. So I leave the line. I had to go to 3 different places. I went to a pizza shop. I got 2 notes exchange. Went to where else did I go? I went to a communications store, one of the communications provider. I got 2 more notes exchanged the new one for the old one. I realized that wasn't working out because I needed about 10 different notes, right? So this 2-2 thing wasn't going. So I ended up in the supermarket. Cashier after cashier telling me, you know, the manager told us, that's what they're saying. The manager told us that too many people are coming in here asking us to exchange old notes for new notes or new notes for old notes. And we have been told not to do it. The reason why so many people have to be coming asking the cashiers to give them the old notes is because they cannot deposit the new notes in the ATM. But here now, the manager has told the cashiers, no, don't exchange it. Luckily, I went to, because when I just went in there, I went up to the customer service line, and the manager was actually there, which I didn't know that she had this new policy. So she told me no. But then I was so desperate because I'm saying nowhere else, because the supermarket is more likely to have that amount of notes to exchange. So I just went a good way away to one of the cashiers that a little distance from her, and I asked her, and she said, we're not supposed to do this, but I'm going to check and see if I have some of the old notes. And she did, and she gave me the notes, and I went and exchanged them. So upset. Of course, by the time I reach up back to the ATM, that guy gone, because it took me a good 20 minutes or half an hour going from store to store trying to change around the new ones for the old ones, which it just don't make any sense. The manager didn't give a reason. She just said, no, we don't. Because I went there last week. The same thing happened to me last week. I went there, and the manager, as a matter of fact, look at how this worked. I went in there last week on a different occasion. I saw the manager going around asking for change. So she couldn't find any change to do. And she didn't ask me, because obviously I'm a customer. She don't know. She was asking her cashiers. And I heard her asking for change. And I said to her, would you like me to change? Or I think she had two $5,000 bills. I said, would you like me to change them for you? Imagine, would you like me to change them for you? And I changed two hard $5,000 bills for her, right? And before this, I've gone to cashiers and they have gladly exchanged. Apparently now is a new thing. Now imagine me gladly change it for her in the week. She clearly don't remember me, that I'm the person, right? But now the policy is, no, they're not changing over. So what are people supposed to do? I mean, I was so upset. I'm still kind of upset. Because if I go there tomorrow, it's the same thing going to happen. When are the machines going to be updated where you can lodge the new currency into the machine? The machine can dispense the new currency to you now. The new notes, it can dispense it. So why can't it receive it? If you put up the signs, do not deposit the new notes. If you don't remember, or if you accidentally deposited, the machine going to spit it back out. It's spitting it back out to you. You cannot lodge it. That don't make no sense to me. And it's very inconvenient. It's extremely inconvenient and irritating. So that's number one on my list. And I would love for somebody to explain to me, somebody in finance, somebody in government, somebody in banking, explain to me why you are able to get these new notes from the machine and you are not able to lodge them. And why are you faced with this inconvenience now of having to be running around trying to change over the new notes for the old ones so you can make your lodgement? I remember now you can't go to the teller in the bank anymore to lodge unless it's above a certain amount of money. So you can't go to the teller to lodge the new notes. You have to go to the bank, to the ATM. Yet the ATM is not accepting the new note. It's just absolute bull. Crazy. So that's number one. So actually it's not a person, it's a system that pissed me off. That's number one. All right, number two in the top 12 people who piss me off. Number two are people who think that I am lying to them. You ever tell somebody the truth? Well, I speak the truth. I don't go around telling people lies. But you ever just speaking your truth and somebody's insisting that you're trying to tell them a lie? You're trying to lie to them? That for me is irritating because I'm saying, who does this person think they are? What audacity to think I would go out of my way to lie to you. Do you know how much energy goes into telling a lie? Do you know how much mental resources go into coming up with a lie, and you have to go remember the lie, and you have to go keep the. I don't have that. Men not dedicate them kind of time and energy to people. Why? Who are you? Who are you? If me say it go XYZ, that's how it go XYZ. I don't have the time and the energy to go trying to conjure up any lie. I don't lie for myself. Me not lie to you. Me not lie for you. Me not have the energy and the time for that. And it's irritating. And especially when people going out of their way to prove that you are lying. Hello? The thing though, I'm not going out of my way to prove that I'm telling the truth. You're either gonna take it or leave it. So if you want to expend energy trying to prove that I am lying, go right ahead. Number 3, top 12 people who piss me off. Number 3, you ever go in the taxi? Well, here in Jamaica, we have route taxis. Yes, you can charter your taxi, whereas you alone in there, and it takes you wherever. But we have route taxis that ply specific routes. All right, and you go in, and there are other passengers in the taxi. You have some taxi men who feel that they need to make small talk with you from the moment they pick you up to the moment they drop you off. I am not into the small talk to strangers or friends. I'm just not a small talk person. I'm not a talkative person. I'm talkative on YouTube, but in my private life, I'm a very reserved, quiet, introverted person. When I go into a public vehicle, the last thing I want is for somebody to make conversation with me, to be asking me unnecessary things, to be asking me about politics and news and chatting people who come in the taxi. I'm just not into it. I'm a writer, so I listen a lot because I learn from people. So when I'm in the taxi, the mode that I am in is listening mode. I listen to the conversations going on. I don't want to participate in the conversation. I'm making notes, mental notes, sometimes even literal notes on paper. What people talking about, what are their views on different things. Yeah, I pick up all of that because I'm a writer. I'm very interested in how people feel about things because I create characters. But I don't want to participate in the conversation. I don't. So you have some taximen, maybe because this is their job. They're on the road every day. People come in, so it kind of becomes natural to them, I guess. Where they just talk, and different people come in and they start up conversation. But all right, let me tell you a situation that happened to me once. where a taxi man literally stopped the taxi and asked me to get out. So I went in the taxi. Immediately he starts talking about this and that and what or not, and I'm just not interested in what he's saying. But okay, he starts talking and I just give some casual response. Okay, yeah. Yeah, man, Okay. But this man, he wouldn't stop there. He wanted a deep conversation about nonsense. So I said to him, driver, listen, I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk to you. So him say, but that's rude. That's rude. What do you mean you don't want to talk to me? I said, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to you. I took your taxi. You need to drop me from point A to point B. That's all I want from you is for you to drop me from point A to point B. I don't want conversation from you. The man stopped the taxi and said, lady, get out. Come out of my taxi. Come out of my taxi. So I come on. I come out of the taxi. How dare you assume that everybody's going to want to be in this conversation with you about things that they have no interest in? And if the is so basically saying, I don't have the right. I as the paying passenger don't have the right to tell him that I don't want to be in a conversation. So him stop the taxi and ask me to get out. So people supposed to be engaged in conversation with you because is your taxi. Really? I know some people, some passengers are just as talkative as you, yeah, and they're going to want to be in the back and forth, and the gossip and the news and the whatever, but not everybody is like. Wow, my internet went. I'm not sure why. Okay, so it looks like we're back on. Right. Yeah, so that was number 3, taximen who insist on having conversations with passengers. I don't like it. It irritates me. I want to be just left alone to enjoy my ride from point A to point B. So, number 4, persons who record other people in the privacy of their home or the privacy of any space without their consent. They videotape them or they get them on audio tape, or they, whatever way that they violate their privacy, particularly if it shows the person in a compromising situation. The leaked sex tapes, that irritates me. And people do this vindictively. They do it, some of them do it just because they can, for no other reason but that they found a way to manipulate the person to the point where the person became vulnerable, and then they just abuse this and then use it either as blackmail or some kind of way to get back at the person. And sometimes it's not even getting back. The person don't do you anything, but just to prove that you have the upper hand. I despise people who do that. I despise people who invade other people's privacy. People who go searching around for people's documents, their diaries, snooping around, searching in people's phones. Those kinds of things are despicable to me, utterly despicable. And then you're going to release the person's information to the public without even thinking of the ramifications of that, the consequences of that. The person has children. The children are going to come and see these things. It is just utterly despicable. Number 5, I don't like panhandlers. I don't like people who stand at the street side and beg day in, day out. I know you have persons with legitimate need, but from my observation, the vast majority of people who do this, even if they start out with a legitimate need, even after they're in a better position, they tend to just stay in that because they realize that they can use this and earn money. I shouldn't even say earn. They don't earn it. They just get money with giving nothing in exchange. And I don't like that at all. A lot of these people are able-bodied, or maybe they have a minor disability, or even if it's a major disability. But they could, if they really put their minds to it, they could find a way to do something in exchange for the money that they need. But to just sit down at the door of the supermarket, or sit down at the stoplight with your hand out, begging day in, day out, I don't like it. I don't respect it. I don't. And I don't make it a habit to give to these people. There are people who have seen them for years, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years in the same position. They leave their house every morning and they make their way to the same spot at the doorway of whichever store, and they start begging and they stay there till 5, 6 o'clock, and then they go home. And this is what pays their bills and buys their food and whatever else they need to do, begging for others with giving nothing in return. I don't support that kind of life. So that's number 5. Number 6, in the top 12 kinds of people who piss me off, people who on social media, they take offense from what other people post. They assume that it is meant for them. There's a saying, who the cap fits, let them wear it. And in Jamaica, we also say, if you fling stone in a pig pen, the one who squeal out, him get the lick. If you throw stone in the pig pen, the one who squeal is him get the lick. So there's another saying too. a guilty conscience is worse than obeah. So a lot of times, you see, because these people know that they are guilty of particular things, just that guilt inside of them makes them feel that the person is targeting them. When it might not be about them at all, the person might not even have them on their mind at all. But because they know what they have been up to, they take offense to this, right? So persons who take offense to social media posts, they are in number 6. Number 7, you know, the people who you're in a conversation with them and they always start the conversation by saying, I don't mean to interrupt you, but, or I don't want to bother you, but, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but, and then they go on to interrupt you. They go on to bother you, and they go on to disrespect you. The same thing that they didn't mean to do. They go right ahead and do it. Because usually when they try to temper, they try to introduce themselves with those statements, they are going to do exactly what they say they are not going to do, right? I don't mean to interrupt you. You're interrupting me. Whether or not you mean to, that's what you're doing. I don't mean to disrespect you, or with all due respect. Anytime you hear somebody start with all due respect, it's usually something disrespectful they're coming with, right? With all due respect, usually what's going to follow that is a very disrespectful statement they're going to make. And just don't bother with that intro. Just go right ahead and interrupt, go right ahead and bother, go right ahead and disrespect. Don't pretend that you're not going to, because it's exactly that you do. Number 8, and this again is not a person. Number 8 in the types of people / entities / things that piss me off is the rain. The rain when I hang clothes out to dry. No other time. I love the rain every other time. Except if it get too much and it start to flood, there. It is so irritating. Well, for those of you who live in places where you don't hang your clothes outside to dry, you probably can't relate to this. I live in the tropics, so when we wash our clothes, we don't really have a need to put them in the dryer. We just go outside where it's brilliant sunshine. Usually, for much of the year, majority of the year, brilliant sunny days, blue skies. So we just hang the clothes out, and usually there's also a lovely gust of breeze, Caribbean breeze coming off the sea, to dry the clothes pretty quickly too. But we also do get some rain, particularly in the afternoons, depending on the time of year. So when I wash my clothes and then I hang them out to dry, and then the rain comes or it starts to drizzle, there's a light drizzle, and then you run and you take up the clothes, put them back inside, sun come out again, you hang them out again, and the drizzle start, that kind of thing. That kind of thing irritates me to the bone. it irritates me. I'll just leave them out. After a while, I'll just say, you know what? If the rain wants to wet them up, let it wet them up. And you have some people who they don't like the smell of rainwater on clothes. Me personally, I don't mind it. Because if you think about it, if you're in the country where all you have is rainwater, some country people they catch rainwater, that's what they used to wash. So suppose you were in the country and it's rainwater you wash with, that's how the clothes would smell like rainwater. I don't mind the smell, but you have some persons, if rain catch their clothes on the line, they have to wash over the entire set of clothes. Not me. Rain wet up my clothes on the line, I just wait till the sun dry them and carry them back in. What's the point? What's wrong with rainwater? I don't mind the smell of rainwater. Number 9, these people irritate me. And they are the bodybuilders. Especially the ones who overdo it. You ever see those guys where they are so buff, they are so big, they can't even, the hand can't even come in. They can't do this. They can't do this. The hand have to be out here. They can't. I don't even think they can scratch the back. The legs. Oh my God! I hate seats. I hate seats. I hate seats. I hate seats. I know you have some women who love their men muscular. They love their guys too. Yeah, paddle. I mean, I don't mind some muscles, but I tend to like slim guys. I've always liked slim guys, right? A little muscle, yeah, okay. But when them bulk up themselves and they gulp down the protein shakes and protein shakes and protein shakes and eat the raw egg. Every minute they might eat raw egg and it, ooh. Mm-mm. Ooh. I just don't like it. I don't like to see it. I just don't like it. I don't. It's just not natural. I just don't like to see it. Too bulky, man. That's not natural. And some of them get to the point where they and then they also inject the steroids, right? And sometimes you literally see the veins, like they're like the veins about to burst. And sometimes some of them actually do rupture the muscles and the veins, even their butts. Some of them, when they're lifting the weight, the butt actually rupture. I don't know why people do some things to themselves. I don't know. Anyway, okay. So, number 10, no. The people who come in at number 10, you're ever at home. So you're at home and you invite your friends over. Okay, so you invite your friends. Or maybe they're not even your friends. Maybe it's somebody you're just being introduced to, but they're in your home. And the person comes up to you, right? And they said to you, excuse me, do you have a bathroom? Or they go to your workplace or any function that you're having and they come, do you have a bathroom, please? No. Think about that question. Do you have a bathroom? I know that's not what they want to ask, but that's what they ask. They really want to ask, may I use your bathroom? Or do you have a bathroom that I could use? What not? Do you have a bathroom? How could I not have a bathroom? What do you think we use around here? You think we go outside and stoop down in the bush? Yes, we'd like to do that and go back to nature, but we are moving with the times. Yes, we have a bathroom. That's just a stupid question. How can you go into somebody's home and ask them, do you have a bathroom? Ask them what you want to ask them. May I use your bathroom, please? That's better. That's more sensible. May I use your bathroom, please? Because they must have a bathroom in there. This is 2023. They must have a bathroom. Must. Number, where we reach now? What we just do? 10, 11. Oh, this one. Number 11. Out of the top 12 people who piss me off are this one is for the kids, the little innocent ones. These are the kids that are in the age of, let's say, about from 3, 4, 5, 6-ish, that age group, right? No, I deal with kids every day. Kids all across the age groups. I deal with kids every day. And they are very amusing, they are very entertaining, they are very thought-provoking too. But one of the most amusing things about kids, and I include them in the piss off thing, but they don't really piss me off, they more amuse me, right? What they do is, especially when it has to do with food, right? Like they see you eating something that they like, but they have been told not to beg, but they have a cute little way of letting you know that they want some of what you're eating. So they'll see you eating some grapes, right? And they'll come and start rocking and smiling and miss. So they see you eating the grapes. Miss, you know that I like grapes. I like grapes. And I said, that's nice. I like grapes too. And I continue eating my grapes, right? And then they say, Miss, you know that my daddy bought grapes for me last week and I ate all of it? And I said, oh my, that's so nice. Your daddy bought grapes? Yes, miss, and I ate all of it. So I'm still there eating my grapes, pretending not to be getting the hint, right? And then they say, miss, I asked my mommy to buy some grapes, and they'll go on and on and on. They won't come out. Most of them won't come out and say, Miss, can I get some of the grapes? Because they have been told not to beg, especially not to beg adults. And I know what they're trying to do, but I'm just playing the game, trying to tease them out. I mean, eventually, I'll give them, depending on who the child is, how old the child is, I might give them, because you have to be careful with kids, not to cross certain lines, right? But yeah, sometimes though, you just ignore them and say, oh, that's so nice, your daddy bought you grapes, oh, that's lovely. Bring your own grapes. Don't come ink up on the teacher grape expensive. And the last one, number 12. Let's see who is not number 12. Okay, so number 12 in the 12 kinds of people who piss me off are friends and family who condone with bullshit. Yeah, some friends, so-called friends, and some family members, so-called family members, who they'll see you being a jerk to somebody. They'll see you being a parasite on somebody. They'll see you even committing a crime, a terrible crime against someone, and they'll condone it, they'll encourage it, they'll try to cover it up, they'll try to protect you, and they know that you are engaging in bullshit. Those people piss me off. You have sisters and aunties and mothers and grandmas who know that their brother, son, nephew, whoever is being unfaithful to his woman. They encourage it. They see all these, they see him bringing all these other women around and playing it off, and they're being very hypocritical towards his woman. They don't pull him to the side and say, son, brother, what you're doing is wrong. What you're doing to this woman is wrong. You wouldn't want her to do the same to you. You have friends and relatives who see people just being jerks, just using other persons, backbiting other persons. They encourage gossip. They encourage, I mean, some things that I've heard people confess that they know is going on, that their family member is doing or that their friend is doing. And they might say, I don't want to interfere, or, I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to be the one to ray. How do you call yourself a friend if you're going to allow the person to be a jerk? You're not a friend. A friend is someone who is going to call you out on your wrongdoing, whether you like it or not. That's a friend. And as family members, we have a responsibility to call each other out when we're doing wrong. This is something that a lot of us don't have. It takes integrity and it takes courage. And yes, the person might eventually cut off the friendship or even cut off the family ties. But at the end of the day, you will have your integrity to stand on, to say you did not condone foolishness. Yeah, we have to be willing to do that, no matter who the person is, no matter how close the person is. If they are wrong, they are wrong, and you should be willing and able to tell them that they are wrong. Cause it what it will. People who don't have the guts to do that, they irritate me. Because in doing this or in not doing it, depending on what it is, you are perpetuating slackness. And what goes around comes around. So when you see a man cheating on another woman and you encourage it, what goes around comes around. Okay? What goes around comes around. So that's where we're going to end tonight. These are the top 12. Part 2. This is part 2. So there were 12 before this. There were 12. There were 12 persons. Oh my goodness. There were 12 persons before this, and then 12 more came into my head. So who knows? Maybe there will be a part 3. You guys are out there pissing me off. You need to stop. I feel like I'm done, but who to tell? Maybe some more will flood into my head again, and I'm going to have part 3. So who knows? Let's see how that goes. Until tomorrow night, this is Cam. Take care of yourselves.